Okay, Introductory Chaldean, chapter 16. We have 3 more lessons in this book. After this, the recording will stop, so we'll be more casual, and I will go straight to the blue book, and we're going to go through all the stuff that you feel like you're missing in this book. So right now, I'm just giving you random words, random conjugations. Today we're going to learn how to say, I went. You have no idea how to say, I am going, or I will go. Those are different tenses. This is not a systematic treating of the grammar. This is just, here's some useful words so you can talk to Nana. Once you get used to it, allow yourself to be a little bit more brave and maybe saying a couple of words, pronouncing things, asking questions about how to say things. It's just kind of getting your feet wet. Once your feet are wet, we'll dive right into the grammar. There, you're going to get every answer about grammar, every question about grammar answered. What's the past tense, future tense? What are the perfect tenses? How do you say the present tense? What are how to use the infinitive? What are adjectives about? What are nouns about? Things like that. Let me turn this completely muted. Okay. So if you feel like did I miss something? There's so much that's lacking in my knowledge right now. That's the correct feeling. At this point, all I have done is push you into the jacuzzi, not even into the pool. When we get into the blue book, you're going to get pushed into the pool, into the 9 feet side. And you're going to feel like you're drowning, and then you're going to really learn. You never learn unless at some point you feel like you're drowning. And if you think you learned something without ever feeling that, you didn't actually learn it. That's my theory. Okay. Speaking of drowning, time for school, chapter 16. Some verbs, to go, to read, and to write, all of them the past tense, all of them grammatically identical. So this is actually going to be a very short class. But there's a couple of things to review, like how to tell time is going to help us review numbers, which I told all of you guys to learn and none of you did, so it's time to review it. Good? All right. Last chapter, you learned the past tense of the verb to come. Most past tense verbs are easy to remember once you have memorized the pattern of endings that you saw in that verb. So in this chapter, we'll take what you already know and apply it to the past tense of 3 other verbs. To go, just like the verb to come that you already learned, to go is actually very irregular and hard to learn in the present and future tenses, but it's straightforward in the past tense. So, I kind of want to tell you what the verbs are. I'm not going to give you the form of the verb, but I just want to tell you what they are so that you have an idea what these tenses are. So we have, in Chaldean, we have a past tense, a present tense, and a future tense. But then we also have what's called a perfect sort of state. So we're going to have a past tense, which we're learning right now, a present tense, and a future tense, which we're going to learn a little bit in the next chapter. But these are a little bit slightly more complicated. Okay? This is the simplest one, just the plain past tense. But there's also going to be a past perfect, a present perfect, and a future perfect. English also has all of these tenses. The future perfect is very rare in English. It's actually very rare in most languages that I know. But these are the basic tenses that we're going to eventually learn in the blue book. I also want to add something to this. Is it in here? No, it's in the blue book. The endings that I begged you to learn, shimmi, shimmuch, shimme, those are what's called I think I call them the type B endings eventually in the blue book. Those are very important, but they're very simple. You already know them from the possessive pronoun stuff. They are used in the past tense. That's why the past tense is so simple. That's why I'm starting with it in the green book. The present and future tenses use a different set of endings. So it's going to be harder. The past perfect is also going to use type B ending. Type whatever I said. Type B. I think it was type B. I forgot which one's which. Anyway, these are going to be common. These are going to be common as well, but it's going to be a different set of endings. Okay? So that's just so you can see what there's left to learn. You're already going to have the past tense learned pretty well. This is what's left. Good? All right. Erase this. Other than that, this is a pretty simple chapter. I went. Everyone say zilli.
Zilli.
You went zilluch.
Zilluch.
You feminine went zillach.
Zillach.
He went zille.
Zille.
She went zilla.
Zilla.
We went zillan.
Zillan.
You plural went zillochun.
Zillochen.
They went zille.
Zille.
Okay. Why would this be irregular in other tenses? Look at the alap. So remember what I said about root letters? Root letters, there's generally going to be 3 root letters in most verbs. In this case, the root letters are these 3. Alap, zain, and lemad. I already told you, I think it was last week, that whenever you find an alap as one of the root letters, it's going to sort of mess up the form of the verb. They're called weak verbs. Any verb that has an alap as one of the root letters is called a weak verb. In the case where it's the first of the root letters, it's called a first weak. Okay? If alap is in the middle, it's called a hollow verb. And if alap is the third, alap or waw or yod is the third root letter, it's called a third weak. We're going to learn that a lot more in the blue book. But I just want to show you how irregular this verb is going to be in other tenses. The first letter is alap, that's one strike against it. But the third letter is lemev. Why is that going to mess around with things? Because the endings for the past tense already have a lemev on them. Right? What was the verb we learned last week? Theli, right? I came, theli, or itti, or itli, or whatever. So there's already, when you say theli, there's already a lemev. Now you have a second lemev that's part of the root. So when we write this, there's going to be an alap, a zain, a lemev, and then another lemev. And then this alap at the beginning is going to be not pronounced. What's this thing called? Who remembers what this thing's called? Everyone say batlana. So this is going to be written so we can recognize the root, but it's not going to be pronounced. The lemad that's part of the root is going to be written, but it's not going to be pronounced either, because it's going to get absorbed into this lemad that's part of the conjugation. You see how messy this verb is going to be? However, if you just learn the sounds, I mean, if you want to write it like a monkey, you can write it like this. Zilli. But this is when you conjugate it, when you say it in present or future tense, this is not going to make any sense. So you really, really should write it this way. Good? All right. Let me erase the monkey spelling. We'll go here. Okay. That's it though. It's the same endings with the sound zil at the beginning. Zil, li, zil, luch, lach, e, a, an, ochen, e. So far so good? I can breathe today because it's a pretty short chapter. As you see, you use the same endings as you did for to come and attach them to the beginning of zil, to the beginning zil. For the verb to read, you do the same with the beginning qare, qare. So what's the root here of this new verb? The root letters are qop, resh, and alap. This alap at the end is going to cause trouble in some other conjugations. But right now it's not that big of a deal. So what you're going to do, the same thing. You're going to take this root and you're going to attach these endings to it. And so on. Are you seeing the patterns? The patterns are you take the endings and add them to the root. That's how you make past tense. So repeat after me. Qreli, qreluch, qrelach, qrele, qrela, qrelan, qrelochun, qrele. So now let's compare. This is how I want you to, as you learn languages, the most important thing to learn a language is the pattern. So let's look at the pattern. Go to I went. Everyone say zilli.
Zilli.
Now jump down to I read. Everyone say qreli.
Qreli.
Zilli. Say it.
Zilli.
Qreli. Zilluch,
Zilluch,
Qreluch.
Krelach,
Zillach,
Zillach,
Qrelach.
Krelach.
Beat these patterns into your brain. It's cute when the kid says it, right? I agree. Okay. Beat these patterns into your brain. Not just the endings, but like get used to throwing them on other verbs. And then one day your grandma is gonna say mbushili when she cooked something, and you're gonna say, ooh, li, that's the ending for the first person past tense. Nana, did you cook in the past tense? And she's going to say, how do you think you ate today? And you're going to say, wow, I'm learning the language. You know? And so on. So that's how, and you're going to learn more and more verbs, and every single verb you learn, all you have to do is figure out the root, which I'll teach you how to do pretty early on in the Blue Book. You figure out what the root of it is, and you stick these endings on, and you get to use these endings with every single verb to make the past tense. That's why these endings and these patterns are so important. Get it? Okay. All right, let's talk about writing. The same goes for the verb to write. So you learn, so that's funny. I gave you come and go, and now we're going to read and write. So let's see. The root for to write is these three letters, kap, tau, and bith. Okay? This is softened and this is softened. So it's not ktibli, it's kthu. And then you put on your endings, li, loch, and so on. Okay? Repeat after me. Kthuli. I wrote. Kthuluch. Kthulach. Kthule. Kthula. Kthulan. Kthulochon. Kthule. So let's compare these three. Everyone say kthuli. Qreli. Zilli. See? The past tense is very, very simple once you know the endings. This is it. So you basically know a whole tense of the verb already. Go to the glossary at the end, a little dictionary. Find some verbs. And the way you can find verbs in the glossary is any entry in Chaldean that has two words on it is a verb. Okay. So let's see. Let me find a regular one. How about to anoint? Page 128 in the glossary. To anoint, mashah mshaha. So the root is mshah. So if you want to say I anointed, everyone say mshahli. See what I mean? Mshahluch, mshahlach, and so on. Let's find another nice verb. Descend, page 129, is nachith. So the root, to say I descended is nchithli. See that? And you do that with every verb. Okay? Let's see what's going on in our soap opera. Maryam says, Dawid, everyone say Dawid, Shetha b'maqa ila. Sometimes you'll hear people say b'maqela. That's a little more common. What time is it? No questions. You look like you're going to say something annoying. What? No, Shetha b'maqela. Sa'a is another way to say time. Really, the word means hour. Shetha and sa'a mean hour. So what hour is it? What is the hour? She's being very Elizabethan. Dawid answers, everyone say, Ila shetha b'ishwa uruba b'mchushka. I don't know what they're doing together that early in the morning. That's kind of ayab. Okay. Maryam says, Adana ile ta madrasa. You can say madrashta if you want to get real fancy. Madrashta is a real super fancy word for school. Madrasa is perfectly fine. They're related roots. Okay, so those are both fine. David answers, Iman zillach al madrasa timmal. Miriam says, Timmal zilli. Hey, there's our verbs. Zilli. Shetha b'ishit upalge. Okay. Tamaha zillach. Qalula timmal. Oh, he's getting jealous. He thinks she's going to meet up another guy or something, right? Why'd you go? Miriam says, Zilli qalula. Mbedqreli kthawa. Dmalpani. Qam sharetha daras. All right. Let's see. Dawid. Malpanach kthul kthawa. He is jealous. Ma hakima ile. Oh, jealous. Ile hakima. She's not helping. Uham kibe. Da'akhni talmidhe. Da'akhni talmidhe. Yelpuch randa. All right. What's going to happen to Miriam and Dawid? Everyone say glola is a circle. Drasa, studying. Waraqa, paper. Ilapa, learning. Madrasa, school, we talked about that. Malpana. Msalsa. That means a triangle, apparently. I've never said the word triangle in Chaldean. Msalsa with a meme. Mraba'a, a square. What do you think mraba'a is related to? Mrabba. How do you say butter? Mrabba? That's jam. No, mraba'a is related to the word arba'a. So square is a four-sided figure. Mashaya is an eraser. What do you think the root is of mashaya is? Mshaya, right? Mshe. So msheli is I erased. See? Mashaya. Nuqza, a point or a dot. Sirpa, a line. All these geometry terms, that's funny. Sirpa is a line. Adana, time. You already know another word for time, which is zona and shetha. Shetha is hour, but we'll learn about that in a second. Patha. So listen, patha is page. It also means face, right? So patha is this side of the paper. A page, so a page as in, is that right? Yeah, a page is patha. A paper is either waraqa or you can call it tarpa, which also means a leaf, right? So these are all different synonyms for these words. Where am I? Patha. Chapter is pasoqa. So the word pasoqa means a division. Pasoqa is from the word psak, which means to divide. Okay? So a division. And then sabura is a chalkboard, even though this isn't a chalkboard, whatever, close enough. Qalama, pen. Shetha is time or hour. And then talmida is student. What do we got here? Everyone say qalula, early. It's the opposite of when you guys got here. Mu'anatla. Everyone say mu'anatla. Late. That's what most of you guys were. Mu'anatla. B'mkhushka. A.M. It literally means in the morning. B'mkhushka. We have time for some fun. Listen to this. Let me erase these guys. Let's see where we get mkhushka. Mkhushka. Mkhushka is min. Khushka is the sort of old way to say that is khishka. And this means from, as you know. and this means darkness. So morning is when we're going away from the darkness. Isn't that cute? I think it's cute. If you don't think it's cute, I don't care. Bathar Palgidium. So after the middle of the day, or PM. Everyone say Arpapa. A second. That literally means a blink, the blink of an eye. Arpapa is a blink, but it's a second. Daqiqa is a minute. Shetha is an hour. And then Yoma is a day. How do you tell time? Let's review some numbers. In this case, we're using the feminine numbers. Why? Because the hour, the word for hour, Shetha, is feminine. So because the word for hour is feminine, we are going to say Shetha Baghdha. Everyone say Shetha. And then B, which means in or of, Baghdha. Shetha Baghdha. So the hour of one. Okay? Titte. So Shetha Btitte. So 2 o'clock. Shetha Btullath. If you didn't memorize your numbers before, you have a second opportunity. Shetha B'arbe. Shetha B'khammish. Shetha B'ishit. Shetha B'ishwa. Which it almost is right now. Shetha B'tmane. Shetha B'tisha. Shetha B'issar. Shetha B'chadesar. Shetha B'tresar. So if you want to say it's 1:01, you say Shetha Baghdha Ukha Daqiqa. So if you go to the left side, it says Kha Daqiqa. So 1:01, Ghda Ukha Daqiqa. 1:01. Titte, sorry. So now it's going to be, here's what's really annoying. The hour is feminine, the minute is masculine. Real practice there. This is not for the weak. If you're weak, you'll complain about this. If you're a real man or woman, you'll learn it, and then it's literally 10 things to learn. It's fine. You can 12 things, whatever. Thalatha Arbe. If you want to say quarter after, you say it is, let's say it's 6:30, you want to say Ishit Uruba. Everyone say Ishit Uruba. 4 1/4. If you want to say 20 minutes after 6, you say Ishit Uthilith. Say Ishit Uthilith. Thilith comes from Tlatha. It means 6 1/3. What's 1/3 of 60? 20 minutes. We're doing some math free of charge. Nobody pays me enough to teach math, and here I am doing it. If you want to say half past or 6:30, Ishit Upelge. So 6 1/2. What time is it? 6 1/2. I like that. If you want to say it is 20 minutes to 6, Ishit Illa Thilith. Say Ishit Illa Thilith. So 5:40 is Ishit Illa Thilith. It's 1/3 of the hour to 6. I like that. I like that way of telling time. If you want to say it's 5:45, Ishit Illa Ruba. Say it. Good. And then how do you say 58 and 59? It's a little like new, saying it in like 20 minutes to is illa thilith, but it's okay. You never have to say that. You can just say the numbers. You can say Shetab Ishit Arbi. You can say that. Either way, learn it. Okay? Homework, write those in English, write those in Chaldean, write 7 short phrases, read. That's it. Next week, we're going to eat and want. Questions or comments? Yes. The stress of the syllable is mostly the second to last syllable. Almost always the second to last syllable. Yep. Anything. Yep. All right, see you next week. Peace out.